Okay, so let's start. Maybe we have all of the candidates. Some of them are not joining. Maybe they have their office today for the Middle East. That's all right. Okay, welcome you all. The one who are new, maybe if you would like to introduce about yourself, that if you are aware about FI or no, that would be great. I can see Arvind. Arvind, are you aware about F5, LTM or something like that?
Yes, basically I have concept about this F5, but it's not deeply knowledge. It's a low
So
knowledge.
you worked on F5, but not on F5
Yeah.
right? Okay. So who joined with the name myunis.c? So would you like to tell about yourself, please? Are you aware about F5 or no?
Yeah, Mr. Adit, this is Muhammad Yunus only. I joined from office, so
Okay. Got it. It's all
I
right.
will I will change my name actually.
It's all right. It's all right. Okay, then we have new one, Vithal. So Vithal, are you having some knowledge about the F5?
Yeah. Actually, I having the knowledge about the FI, but I am too much pressure. We can say like that.
So when we are talking about F5, this is F5 LTM, GTM, ASM. What module you have worked on?
ASM actually.
Okay, you already worked on ASM?
Yeah. ASM. Yeah.
Perfectly. Okay. Someone is also joining with the name of Raju D, but maybe. Okay. So the person who joined with the name of Raju D, maybe you can also let us know if you have some working experience on the F5. If yes, on LTM, GTM, ASM, which module?
No, sir. I don't have the experience on LTM and GTM.
Okay. Not. So guys, in yesterday's session, some of you were not there. Okay. We just discussed about why ASM, what is the WAF, what is the uses of WAF. Okay. The person who are new to this session, it's all right, perfectly fine. I'm giving 15 to 20 minutes again, but post that we will be starting up with our first class today. So WAF is a very generic term. We used to say as WAF. Okay. ASM is the part of F5 module, which is a WAF, but from the F5 perspective, it is. Then we also talked about that when we are talking about WAF or ASM, maybe especially, I told you yesterday, it required your HTTP or HTTPS traffic only. Okay. I will be showing you practically when I will be creating lab that if you are not having the HTTP or HTTPS traffic, then you're further working, or maybe the policy, what you need to apply it, what is the policy, what are the things, maybe we will be coming to that. Don't worry, but that you cannot apply if your traffic is not HTTP or HTTPS. So traditionally, you are aware that if you have layer 3, layer 4, there are a lot of firewalls which work in a very great fashion. But when it is coming to the WAF end or maybe the layer 7 traffic, we checked out yesterday that even you are having SSL encryption, but it is not suffice our requirement, and there are a lot of attacks which can be happen. Then, because most of you guys are already aware that F5 has a product family name as Big IP product suite, which is containing maybe LTM, GTM, ASM, APM, or whatever, all of these things. We are focusing on the ASM in this particular batch, which is nothing but your application security module. Okay, so we need to secure our application, that is layer 7 application. We will be talking about that in very detail, but let me just give you a brief that when you are using your big IP is act as the full proxy. Okay, it might bit like, maybe some people can feel like that it is a little bit faster if you are new to this technology, but since we have already gave all of this introduction, I am just repeating all of these things. So maybe if you will go through my previous recording, you will be able to understand that all of these things we have already discussed yesterday. But since I am starting this ASM class, again, it's my duty to repeat it because everyone should be on the same page. So when I am saying full proxy, it means there would be two sessions established. First session between the client and the big IP. Second session between the big IP and the server. And in yesterday's class, I told you if you are using ASM and you are using HTTPS, then it cannot be that you are not using SSL offloading. SSL offloading must be there, otherwise your big IP will not able to intercept the traffic. If your traffic is encrypted, it cannot intercept that. It cannot check that. So for checking out the traffic, you should be having SSL offloading. That is must. That is the very first prerequisite in applying the HTTPS security policy. Again, what is the security policy? We will be talking about that in a great detail, but later on. Okay. So that is your full proxy. I can say that yes, it is full proxy by default, because you people are aware by default your F5 will work in full proxy. Let me ask the question, in what case or in what scenario your big IP is not acting as the full proxy? Anybody can tell me or share your views so that everyone would be on the same page. Especially who are working on F5, please. Rangna, if you are speaking something, we are not able to hear you. I can see that you are unmuting yourself.
No, I was just going to say that if there is a session that is not being established between client and the big IP and then big IP and then server, then it will not be full proxy, meaning there are no two sessions being established.
Right. So if you are aware in your virtual server types, if you are using maybe fast L4, okay.
Yes.
That is not a full proxy. That is again bypassing your big IP unit. It is not acting as the full proxy ever. If you're using fast L3, performance L4 or performance L3, I am talking about, right? I don't know if you guys have created that or no, but in some requirements, people don't want to use LTM for the load balancing or for the SSL offloading. They only want the LTM to be in the picture, but for the performance L4. In those scenarios, it is not full proxy. So if someone is asking from you, either F5 is always the full proxy or no, it depends upon the virtual server type also. Okay. So that depends. But again, that is the LTM topic. We need not to touch about that. In our current scenarios for ASM, it should be the full proxy. Otherwise, it will not be able to establish or it will not be able to intercept the traffic and check the traffic. So it means what? It means the TCP handshake will be done in two ways. In the first session between your client and the big IP. In the second session between your big IP and the servers. So all of these things are the old one. I hope you guys are aware about it. We already talked about it in our previous class. But let me proceed it. So let me show you again. The full proxy design means client to the big IP, there is a TCP connection. From F5 to the server, again, there is a TCP connection. Similarly, when one request is coming, your F5 will view that, and if required, it can modify the traffic behavior. In a lot of cases, you need to modify it, especially when you are writing down I rules. So I rules is also changing that. Sorry, who joined? Moment. Okay. It's okay. So full proxy is giving us the capability that if one side is IPv6, another side is IPv4, any side vice versa, it is capable of. Full proxy is giving us the capability of compressed or uncompressed profile. Full proxy is giving the capability of encrypted and unencrypted profile. Again, the LTM topics I am not touching over here. You guys are aware about it because, okay, otherwise I would be telling about it. But since every one of you is aware about LTM, I'm not touching it again. So all of these things are the full proxy, which is making it capable of. Now, yesterday, if you remember, I talked about the three components of the application, and as an WAF engineer, you should be aware about these. So I talked about web server, I talked about the application server and the database server, right? So can anybody let me know? Because we have talked about these things in yesterday class, but if someone want to say, anyone? And it is important as an FIU ASM guy, you should be aware about these components of application. No? Okay. So whenever you are opening any page, maybe www.google.com. So you would be represented with a page. That page has some kind of static links, some dynamic links, or maybe some another things. So that page is basically, in the layman term, we can say it is a web server. It is coming from what? Web server. It can be consist of many pages, many different components. But I am talking about very generic three components, which are the major components. And at least these three components will always work in your application. So whenever the browser interact with your web application by sending your HTTP request, okay? By the way, it would be a GET request, okay? I hope you guys are aware about it. If no, I would be telling you about this also, that there is GET. GET operation means to getting out some page. There is something known as POST. POST means if you are posting out something, maybe like you are entering username, password, you are putting it on the application, it will be used as the POST, okay? And if you are aware, yesterday we were talking about REST API, okay? Into REST API, when your one program is interacting with your another program, it will be using as something known as CURD. C stands for create. If you want to create something, U means if you want to update something, R means if you want to read something from the application, D means if you want to delete. So every function is associated with some your methods, like your get method is there, like your post method is there. Maybe it can be also achieved by the post method. Maybe it can also achieved by the delete method. So there are a couple of methods which are there. Put also maybe can be used over here, which can be used into your environment. Why this is important? Why I am telling you about this? Because as an application security manager, when you are deploying a security policy, okay, for an application. And this application is using, maybe it is using put, or maybe it is using patch. By default, these methods are not allowed. You need to interact with your security owner. You need to ask them either the put or patch are the different methods which can be allowed or no. If they said yes, only then your request will be taken as legitimate, or it will be considered as legitimate traffic. Otherwise, your application security manager will raise up a violation. And yesterday I showed you that it will give a support ID. Okay, support ID is something, a number to give you the detail that there is some block. And if you want to check about that block detail, you just check out your support ID. Again, I will be showing you today also, if we will be having that particular class. So that is the thing why I was talking about that these application components are important. And if you remember, so web server, if you talk about, this is your HTML page, files, images, videos from a website, which is given to your client. And web server is the first point of contact where HTTP request will land up and it will give you the response. Then application server will come into the picture, which will expose some kind of business logics to the client generated by the dynamic content. Maybe some software framework, if need to transform some data, specialized in the function, maybe for the business, for some service, maybe for some application related, it can also come into the picture. Then database is storing out some of the data when you need to store it, database server. And I told you that whenever you're saving it, you are saving in the form of SQL. We talked about the JSON and XML also. when I was talking about the REST yesterday. Okay, so these are the languages, encoding schema. These are the encoding schema, how your one application component is talking with another. Again, we will be coming back to them in detail, but obvious when I will be teaching the like further classes. But for the time being, you should be aware about these things, what are these terminologies are. So if you talk about yesterday, I showed you the SQL injection attack, right? Which is a part of our injection attack. It's not that injection attack is the only SQL injection attack. It can be PHP, it can be Java, it can be any. So one of the major known attack is the SQL attack, which I showed you in our last class or in yesterday's or the very first demo class or the introductory class, I can say. Okay. In that introductory class, I showed you about that. And let me tell you why it is important to learn is because each and every part, okay, of your application may be vulnerable, okay, and you as an ASM administrator, you should be having the proper view of any application if you are securing it under the security policy. Okay, so that is the thing what you need to do, okay, in the application thing. And we talked about why ASM is required. Maybe if someone can want to add on, we talked about some kind of regulatory mandates, if you remember, right? I was talking about that there are some mandates like HIPAA, okay, or maybe some kind of related to PCI DSS, where I talked about the data guard. So these are something related to your payment card industry data security standards. So these kind of things are required in your banking site, in your credit card site, bit like that. To maintain that kind of level for the regulatory mandates or the compliance, your ASM is well capable of. Even yesterday, someone was talking about OAuth top 10. Again, a whole class is dedicated for OAuth top 10, maybe or 1 or 2. Okay, a lot of things we need to discuss about it. Lot of stuff is there, but if you are aware about OAuth top 10 vulnerabilities, okay, over there also ASM is there, which is getting mitigated mostly by the attack signatures. For now, attack signatures, you can talk about that, okay, attack signatures are nothing, a filter, which is filtering out something on the basis of maybe some kind of patterns. We will be coming to that. We will be checking out how we can prepare our own attack signature also. There are so many labs, don't worry. We will be having a very ample data to understand about these things. But let me proceed. Any question? No? Okay. Let me then proceed. So someone from you, maybe the one who is from networking field, can let me know about how our application flow. Very, very simple question, always used in case of interview perspective. So how our application will flow, or maybe how our traffic will flow for accessing any application. Anyone want to add something?
OSI model.
Yes, you are. Yes, someone was saying something. You were audible.
I think first of all, there will be three-way handshaking. Then after it will complete it, it will after three-way handshaking, then it will go to the if there will be encryption or it will be like agreement for SSL, and it after agreed on the after SSL handshake is happening, it will go to application layer, which will be that.
Okay. Don, wanted to add some more thing?
The service is like a HTTP.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anyone else wanted to say something? No? Okay. So the very first thing which come into the picture is the DNS. Why these things are important? Because you should be aware about the traffic flow. Okay. So how the traffic will flow? Once your client is coming up, maybe through SD-WAN, MPLS, DMVPN, whatever the thing is, okay, it is entering to your device. I am just ignoring any kind of Arbor solution, any kind of WAN device, any kind of the firewall. I'm just coming to the F5. Okay. So there is F5, that is a logical diagram. Again, there can be a number of devices in between. I am not considering them. And there is one server, or maybe more than one server. Let us consider two, just for the simplicity sake. We have two servers. Can anybody let me know if there is a website, maybe abc.com, what my DNS will resolve? And the server IP are 172, maybe 16, maybe 10.1, 172, 16, maybe 10.2, something. There are n number of servers. I am just using them too. The self IP here would be 172, 16, 10, maybe 254. The VIP IP here maybe 192, 168, 1.100. Please ignore the private public range. Just think about the netting and all of the stuff. But let us say this is the public IP only. Okay, maybe let me consider as 200 or like that. Okay. Now you do let me know when we are resolving abc.com from our DNS, what should be the IP that is coming?
It's 200, right?
254.
So one answer is 154. Second is 200.
Should be the IP of the defined like.
Sorry.
Here from the internet itself, it should be coming to the 200.
Okay. So
1.100. If F5 is there, but if F5 not there, it will resolve it 10.1 if whatever we selected, 10.1 or 10.2 if F5 is not there.
Okay. So what we can say is, let us say if there is firewall, okay, and there is some public IP, maybe this 200 IP is there, there is 192, 168, 1.1. Now please let me know what should be the IP my DNS is resolving.
It will be the public IP and the firewall.
Okay, let me give this also the public IP 201. Now tell me what. Come on, very generic questions. I just wanted to know about your understanding, so that when you are looking out for any kind of issues, these kind of troubleshooting skills will help you out, right?
Could you please repeat questions?
What should be the DNS IP for abc.com that is hosted on these two servers, server 1 and server 2?
Local IP always configured DNS, so will be resolved, I think, firewall IP 200 dot something.
From this client, I am asking what would be the IP, because
sir, I think
200.
I think it will resolve to the actual server 172.1 and .2 IPs. These generally these public IPs will be NATed in the firewall. So request will first hit the firewall, and then the NATing process will take, and then backend server the request will be sent.
Perfectly right. So do not get confused. If there are n number of devices, okay, n number of devices, it doesn't matter. There can be multiple DNAT which are there occurring in your environment. Okay. In this case, it would be but obvious firewall. Fire will be DNATing it to your F5 IP, and in turn, F5 will be DNATing to your one of the actual server. And your client is not aware about how many DNAT is gonna happen over there. Okay. So such kind of like environment is quite possible, and always, you know, such kind of environment you can able to see. So do not worry. So when you are checking out your DNS entry, it may show you the firewall IP if your F5 is not the globally, sorry, or exposed to the internet world, maybe you can say. Then it should be coming up with some kind of DNet stuff. Perfectly fine, not an issue. But your DNS issue should be get resolved first. If it is giving you wrong IP, then your application will be, but obvious, not reachable. Then let me ask one more generic question, or maybe 2 or 3 more generic questions, so that we would be on the same page. Although it is again my LTM class topics, but let me ask, okay? www.netmanian.net. I am giving you a URL maybe for my Python class. I am maybe searching for the course, or maybe module equal to 3. Someone please let me know what are the parts of this URL. What is the name of those things? The one who are working on F5 currently, maybe I would like to accept these answers from them. So this is my complete URL, but my URL should have some parts. Okay, divide them, give me some answers, whatever you demand. Otherwise, I will let you know. Don't worry. Again, very important thing, when you are going for ASM, you must have the knowledge about these things, because otherwise you would not be able to diagnose what is your parameter is. What is your parameter name? If you are not aware about the parameter, how you can able to protect your parameter? You would not be able to do that. Again, either it is a static parameter, dynamic parameter. All of the things are coming later on. I will be discussing about that. Again, 30 minutes or 40 minutes are dedicated for that, properly for the parameters. But in the generic term, I wanted to know what you know about this URL. Can anybody let me know, or divide this URL into different parts, please?
HTTPS is the protocol.
This is the protocol. It can be HTTP or it can be HTTPS. One thing that is correct. Thank you, Rangana. Next.
DNS IP.
Sorry, one by one.
Domain.
Manian is the domain.
Domain or host name, you can call it.
That's correct. From here to here. This is known as host name. Domain is something different. Okay, .NET is the domain, but that is a separate thing. Let us talk
Python
about
is a language script.
Python is a language, but I am talking about this URL.
Port number.
Port number.
Port number.
No, Python will be subdomain or subpage.
No.
I think it is the query Python, right?
See, from here to here in the generic term, if I will talk, it is a URL in generic term. But again, I want to divide a couple of more things over here. We can
Query string.
What is the query string?
Anything after question mark will be actually passing as a parameter.
So, sorry, who is speaking?
Ranganathan, you said.
Okay, Rangana. Rangana, you are right. Anything after question mark is a query string. One thing within the query string, let me tell you, there are two things. One is the parameter, one is the value.
Yes.
Okay. So this is your parameter, this is your value. Last thing is left. Anyone want to answer?
I think path. This is the path.
This is the path, or maybe you can say file. Okay, that's true. So that is your complete URL components, and you should be aware about these URL components as an ASM administrator, because when you need to protect them, you should be aware about, okay, what is parameter? What is illegal character that I need to be drop out from the parameter? And either it is a global or maybe just related to some specific parameter. So that we need to talk about when we are talking about these stuff in our advanced class. You should not be bit like thinking that, oh, what was the parameter? No. So parameter is something which is coming in the query string, and there can be n number of parameter exist in your query string. Doesn't matter 1, 2, 3. Okay. And it might be that one parameter can come multiple times. We will be talking about those maybe later on. I don't want to get you bombarded with more knowledge today on the parameter. We will be talking about later. Okay, let me talk about the HTTP request methods. Can anybody let me know about the HTTP methods? I was talking about also before some time. Couple of them I was giving you the
Get
overview.
and post.
I gave you the thing that there is get, there is one thing known as head, there is one thing known as post. By default, this can be an interview question again. By default, only these three HTTP methods are allowed in your security policy. By default, it is not that you cannot change them. You can change them, yes, but obvious. And if you're looking for what is the difference between get and head, in the get response, you will be getting each and everything, whereas in head, it will not be giving you ample information. Just a bit like if you are aware about OSPF, there is something known as DBD. Maybe again, I don't want to go in that. So you are not talking about all of the details. You are just giving the description, bit like that, head. Okay, it is giving you the description, not the whole detail. Get is giving you all of the response in one go. And again, when we are talking about the REST API, then maybe you can just refer the last video also. There are a lot of my Python videos also for the REST API. You can go on the YouTube channel and you can check them. So there are all of these methods will be get used. Like I talked about CRUD, or maybe, sorry, CRUD. It was CRUD. So CRUD is a very common term, okay? That is in the use. That is for create, for read, for update, for delete. Okay. So that was one thing.
One question, please.
Sorry?
One question, please. Is there like a HTTP bot for modification?
Is there?
Are we use there is some terminology called also HTTP bot?
What you are saying?
Bot, yes.
You can see if over this virtual server you are just maybe taking some other port, you can use that. That is not an issue. I was just excluding it for the sake of simplicity, not adding the complexity. But if you don't want to use the standard port 443, you want to make the change. You are aware in the SNAT or maybe in the destination NAT also, there is port and IP both got changed, right? So that is very normal. You can do that. There is no issues. Okay, if I will talk about the tools, whatever tools we will use. Okay, maybe let me show you the API also. If you wanted to see, oh, I didn't make my lab up. By the way, you guys will get the lab. Those who joined yesterday, you are aware. Those who not, maybe let me show you again. Let me make it on. Give me a minute, please. In the backend. This is giving some admin view or something. Maybe you can get confused. So I am just making it on and I will show you. It will take some time, but obvious we can maybe talk about the theory. Meanwhile, let me make it on. So this would be your lab. On the same lab, I am also working. Okay. Let me show you. Let me make it on. We need to talk about this lab also today. In our first class, I will be talking out. I will be showing out some kind of API, maybe REST API, which used for the F5 is not named as. We talked about yesterday. What is the name?
iControl.
Yes. So that is named as iControl. maybe I can show you one thing, how the REST API calls can be happen. But before that, let me talk about the tools. So we will be using some of the tools in our classes. That can be Wireshark. If you are from the networking field, very popular, you are all already aware about it. Okay, you must be doing a lot of stuff, even for F5 LTM also. You need to capture a lot of things, okay, over the Wireshark. We can use that also. We can use Fiddler. I told you that Fiddler is free to use. Okay, you can download it. You can install it on your laptop or on the machine of the your, like, let me show you. When I am talking about the Windows machine, I am talking about this Windows machine in your lab. Whatever lab you will get in that machine, you can install it. Okay, you would be having the internet connectivity over there. You can able to download that, use that. How to use, we will be talking about in our further classes. Then you must have used the developer tool also, that is browser compatible. Okay, maybe Chrome, Firefox, whatever you are using. Maybe some of the things, if we want to check out, we can also refer the developer tool too. Okay, leave this part. Now, as an application security manager, you should be aware about the HTTP status code. That is also one thing which can be, useful into your troubleshooting as well. So anyone who wanted to talk about this, if something is coming with 100, what does that mean?
Information.
So these are very general terms, not related to ASM. Just, you should be aware about it. That is the reason why I'm telling. Mostly you have seen 200, okay, and you should be aware that it is for success. What about 300?
Redirection.
Redirection.
So you are aware that in case of redirection, there would be 300, even when we will be creating login pages. So login pages is used where, when you need to protect your application from the brute force. You need to protect your application from the credential stuffing. You need to protect your application from DOS, DDoS. You should be having some kind, maybe not in the DOS. DOS can have the login pages as well. So you need to prepare the login pages, and over there you need to give the status code as 302 for the validation. Maybe again, very advanced. We will come to that later on when we will be talking about these login pages and all of this stuff. In the practical, I would be showing you about this brute force mitigation and all of these, but later on. Okay, what about the 400?
Client error.
So this is client side. If any error is there, maybe 407 authentication is issue, 403 page, maybe admin access, or maybe 404, usually what we saw. Okay. What about the 500?
The client side.
Server error.
So this is your client side, this is your server side, this is your login, redirection, this is your okay, this is information. Now, whenever some event logs are coming, event logs are something maybe I will be showing you later on in our classes, but whenever there are some event logs are coming, these are associated with some kind of codes, these response codes or the status code, I can say. Let us say if the status code is coming with 500 and your application team is making so much noise on you that why my application is break down, bit like that. By analyzing the code, HTTP status code, you can easily say, boss, it is not related to the WAF or maybe ASM. It is related to what? Server, right? Because 500 code is dedicated for your server. Similarly, if there is 40x, whatever coming is, you can easily say that no, it's not related with us. Okay. So these status codes are important in troubleshooting, basically. Okay. I hope all of we are on the same page. There should not be any issue till now. If there is, do let me know. Otherwise, where was that? Okay. We talked about this. Yeah. Okay, let's understand about our lab. So in our lab, there are, let me open it. The one who is working on the F5, maybe you can easily able to find it out what we are doing. And mostly, if I am not wrong, are already working on F5. This is depicting as a client where we will be working. It is your external zone into the external zone or external VLAN, you can say. F5 is having three interfaces. First interface is for management, second interface is for external, and the last is for the internal. Now, whenever your traffic is coming from the external or maybe from this client, it will be for this application. Okay, I am talking about this application. Where it should go? It should be going to the external VLAN and it should be going or hitting on my VIP. This part, I hope you guys are clear. Then my F5 will generate the traffic on the internal VLAN and it will communicate with this vulnerable website. And in the similar way, when my return traffic will come, it will be going through the F5 and reaching to the client. And that is the reason when I am exploiting my website, okay, the logical traffic would be a bit like that. Okay, when I am exploring any of the attacks, okay, I can see on the ASM and I can mitigate them. Any doubt? We are on same page, right? For this, you should be having something known as maybe licensing and provisioning. Anybody would like to talk about this, please? On F5.
I think license I divided in F5. One is for LTM, other one for GTM, other thing for APM, and last thing is for ASM.
So if you ever have done this over the F5, maybe you guys are aware that there is something known as trial keys. So first thing is you should be registered with F5. You need to ask for the trial keys. Second thing, once you have the trial keys available, you need to create something known as dossier file. Once you have the dossier, you need to upload it to the F5 certificate server and you need to download the cert. Fourth, you need to upload the cert. Fifth, it would be, sorry, not cert, maybe I can say it, license. Okay, you need to do the license. So once the licensing part is over, you need to go to the provisioning part. Okay, I will be showing it practically also, maybe in the last class, next class. And then I need to do the provisioning. Provisioning for what? Provisioning for LTM and provisioning for ASM, both. Okay.
License.
Everyone is aware about it. If someone is not, do let me know. I will be showing you some document.
I mean, the license will be covering the LTM, ACM, and GTM, or
it is
just
the provisioning. It is the provisioning where in this free license, yes, LTM and ASM both are covered. Yes. Okay, anyone is there who didn't perform these kind of stuff earlier? Let me show you some more things then. Otherwise, I am considering that you guys are having this knowledge.
Actually, I didn't see these things.
You want to see in the practical also? Okay, I will show you. Now, let me show you something more. Give me a minute. Where is the workbook? Just allow me a minute. I am searching for the workbook and then I will be talking about those things. I will be sharing these workbooks to you guys, and before the next class, I am expecting that you guys should, prepare these workbooks as per this workbook. Prepare your lab. If you have any doubt, then yes, but obvious, we will be discussing it in the next class. But you can see, I am just providing each and everything about what are the devices. You can see what are the interfaces, each and everything. And even the new person who is new, okay, to the F5 LTM even, he or she can able to, like, if you are focusing on this, I have provided what is the IP address for the management, what is the IP address for the external, what is the IP address for the internal. So one, if you are very much new to the F5, even then you can pick it up from there and you can configure your F5 LTM part. Okay. So these are the workbook which is created for you guys. Okay. And you can able to manage your F5 lab very easily when you will go through it. Okay. So let me show you. Let me go through this workbook once so that all of we are on the same page. You guys are aware that when you are like configuring your big IP, you can configure it from two ways. One is from the root, that is your CLI, by default CLI, your username. One is from admin when you are logging from the GUI. The root password is the default. Everyone should be aware about it. If no, then please make a note of it. For admin, the by default username and password is admin and admin. Okay. So this part should be clear to all of you guys. Next, I am talking with you that configure the settings for the interface over the big IP, because this lab for you guys will not be configured anything, neither routing, neither anything. Okay. So the reason I don't want to teach you routing over here in this class, I am giving you each and everything, including your, IP address detail. Please try to use these applications, these IP address only for, or these subnets only for your lab. Although it doesn't matter if you are using any another, but hard for the troubleshooting. I don't want to waste our time for troubleshooting the routing problem. Okay. We need to be focused for F5 ASM class. And it would be better if you can use these VLANs until or unless you are pretty sure about your routing, you are pretty much sure about your all of the stuff. You can play with that, not an issue. Don't use these subnets, but I would suggest you go with these subnets because it is hardly matter whatever subnets you are using. In the last, we need to learn about the attacks and how to mitigate them. Okay. So this is one thing, like what should be the IP detail. If I will show you in my lab, let me open it. Let me open this buddy. CMD, and maybe if I will show you IP config, even you can able to see that there is some IP with 10, 10, 20 range. And if I will minimize it, you can see the 10, 10, 20 range is external. Okay. So even in my lab also, you will be feel like the same thing. And the reason behind, again, I don't want to get confused with the routing part over here. So that is the reason I want to give everything in this particular workbook. So if you go down, you can see by default, whenever you are logging into the admin, through the console, you need to log in through the root and the password is default. I'm showing you each and every screenshot so that none of you should be feel like, what is this lab? Okay. In the very beginning, because you are from F5 people, okay, all of you, you are aware that it should be no licensing. Okay. In starting, there would not be any kind of license. If you wanted to check out your interfaces, maybe you just run out tmsh command, that is tmsh list all the network interfaces. So even the output of the command is also shown for you guys that, okay, what all are the networks that are available in our environment. So you can see that under the management, currently there is nothing. Okay. We don't have any of the IP currently under the management. Whenever you are getting this lab, you guys will be having the same setting for everyone. There would not be anything. Okay. Now, scroll it down. What you need to do is, again, we are just configuring the management subnet, but because some people might be new, so for you, I am telling you need to go to the TMO shell, okay, by entering the TMSH. You need to disable the DSCP. You are just disabling the DSCP. You are creating a new route for the management IP where you are putting out your IP address. Again, I am giving you the command reference in the screenshot. Don't worry, screenshot is below. Okay, what command you need to run, I am giving you that reference also, but I'm just talking about the generic way. Then whatever the default gateway you need to run for, then you are saving the thing. And again, when you check the management IP, this time you should be having the management IP. Let me show you quickly what I am talking about, what the commands you need to run out on your machine. So it is no license currently, okay? I am not bothered about the license currently. You can see it is no license. There is no license at this time. But I am adding what? I am adding the management route, or maybe you can say the IP. So you can see the IP which I added over here is 10.10.10.51. Even in my lab, if I will show you, okay, I will be showing you more on that. Don't worry. But even in my lab, if I will show you ping 10.10. What was that? 10.51 if I'm not wrong. No, what was that? 10, yeah, it is that. Okay, there is something that fit. Okay, no, it's working. So let me show you if it is working. That is fine and good. Otherwise, Fiddler might have some issues. I will be talking about those issues later on, not in today's class. You can see 10.10.10.51. And I am able to log in over there. Okay, so that is your management IP. Again, with the management IP, you are managing your subnet. Okay, we already talked about. Now let me ask from you guys, is anyone have worked on the F5, this, what to say, the REST API? Anyone done the work? Let me give you a very, very small example, okay? If I wanted to check, this is my, by default, you can say URI when I need to connect with my F5, right? What if I want to check out maybe how many virtual servers are there on this machine? I'm just giving you an example. I am going to the management. I am going to the TMOS. I am going to the LTM, and I wanted to check about the virtual. See, it is asking the username and password. Username is admin, password is netminion. Again, you can keep as per of your choice. This is something which is JSON. Again, we will be talking about JSON later on if you will come into the Python classes. But for the time being, you can see that how many virtual servers are there. It is giving me all of the things by using this particular API call. Okay. So that is the thing, like how REST API will talk with one and another device. Again, same thing happens with your SD-WAN also. If you are using SD-WAN, there is SD-WAN APIs where you can call the APIs as per your choice, getting some details, sending out some details, whatever you want, bit like that. Okay, leave it. Let me go to the F5. Okay, license is about to expire. It's all right. I don't want to do anything now. Maybe next class I will be showing you. What I want to show is that, can you see this is 10.10.10.51, what we talked about. Now let's proceed further. If you will go down, you can see we are configuring the DMG zone over there. DMG, whatever DMG I am using over here in our lab. This is nothing but a simple switch, okay? Or a simple router, which is acting as the DMG. If I will show you again the configuration for the DMG, it is nothing. I am going to the configuration terminal, creating the 3 VLANs, and the VLANs information is already there. If you see in the above, I already talked about these 3 VLANs. That VLAN 10 is for the management, VLAN 20 is for external, VLAN 30 is for the internal. Same VLAN I am creating over here in the DMG. You will be able to see them. You will be able to replicate. If you are not able to understand, just copy and paste these commands. So here I am just creating the layer 3 VLANs or SVIs we used to say, and then I am assigning the ports. If you will talk about the ports, what ports should be of the part of which VLAN, you can easily able to see that this port is the part of external. And there is one more port, this port is the part of external. Then if very first port we talk about, the very first part is the management. And then if we talk about the internal has these 2 ports. And the same setting, if you see in the switch, we can see there are 2 ports of the external, there are 2 ports of the internal, and there is 1 port for the management. Okay, that we can able to see. Let me show you quickly, and then we will move to further our lab. So this thing I am providing you. Okay, what should be the configuration on the Windows server, how you need to do the IPs, what you need to do, each and everything. Even you need to add the route on the Windows machine. I hope you guys are aware. So this is the way, like over the command prompt, go add this command. This command we are adding so that we can log in or we can check out maybe the another. We have the external connectivity, but what about the internal? What about the management? If we want that reachability, then we need to add these routes. So I am adding this route explicitly. -P is for persistence, so that if you are logging out and logging in again, it should not be wiped out. So all of these things are there. Please go through them. Okay, each and everything. You can able to see that, okay, what the settings you need to do on your hacking website. The website, what I am doing, you are able to see over here, right? You need to assign the IP address over there as well. So over here, if you need to assign the IP address, what are the commands? Again, very basic commands for your like Unix, Linux, okay, related to that. Your by default username is root and default. You are checking out the interface settings. If interface has the correct IP, that is perfectly fine. But in this case, it is not. You can change the file using the nano. Okay, you need to reboot it after that. Otherwise, it will not be get reflected. And the same thing I am showing over there in the screenshot. What to be come out of this file? I am talking about that also. Press Control A, press Enter, Control X. Again, there are different other stuff also. Whatever way you want to change, you change it. If you are not aware, please proceed up with it. If no, ultimately, you need to make these changes. Once you are done with it, your hacking website will be up and it will be running fine. But this time you are running it directly, not through the virtual server. So if I will show you over here, if I will go to the maybe nodes, this is my hacking website, direct, IP. So direct IP, if I will open bit like that. But if I need to open it through the virtual server, this is the virtual server. So I need to go through the like my ASM box. I need to access it through virtual server. And you can see this time I am just making it as HTTPS so that I can show you a couple of more things. So that is how I am making my reachability part up and running for my lab. Any question so far from anyone? Please ask.
How we can access the documentations?
How we can access what?
How we can find the PDF to follow up the creation
I will give you over the WhatsApp. Don't worry. Okay, that you will be getting out. Maybe I can send to the NetMinen team. They can forward it. Okay. Any technical question?
Shall like we will install a VPN to access the lab, or what exactly?
I don't think so that you should be having the VPN. If you are able to access labs.netminen.net and you have the access for the lab, okay, again, the NetMinen team will give you from the back end. If you have this, okay, then you can able to use that. But if in your country there is some policy, it is blocking this website, then yes, you need to go for the VPN. Otherwise, it is a public URL, at least for India, for Europe, maybe for Middle East also. I have seen that none of any one of complain to us that it is not reachable. So VPN is not required, but if it is, then yes, you need to depend upon your country policies and all. That was the first lab. Okay, thank you. So we have discussed about the connectivity part, right? Let me give you an overview. After the connectivity part is done, what you guys need to be done. So the next PDF you need to be like configured is for the licensing and provisioning. You can see this is the second number, licensing and provisioning, and the VIP configuration you need to do so that your traffic should not go bit like that, but it should be go like that. Okay. For this stuff, what you need to do is you need to do first of all licensing and provisioning about what we were talking. So license, what is license? Maybe you guys can able to read about. What is key you want to read about, you can read. You can access this particular link to get out your, maybe to demand for your 30 days trial keys. Again, there is a catch. I will be coming to that part. So what you need to do is you need to log in. If you don't have the login, one key is valid for 1 day or 30 days, 1 month or 30 days. Then some such kind of page will get appear in front of you. Okay. In this page, they will be asking that, okay, what is the purpose? Maybe whatever purpose you want to mention, you can mention that. What is your job function? You can mention that. What you would like to have it, okay, for the trial. Select here the big IP virtual editions, and the big IQ is also coming. Maybe you can say that, okay, I want big IQ as well. Now, here is the catch. How many license would you like to have? By default, this value would be 1. Do not just blindly, ask for the 1. Go and select for the 3. Okay. From this drop and down button, just select the 3 keys. Pause that. It will be asking only the black letters you need to add. So whatever the black letters, B, 9, D, you want to push out there, and then just demand for it. And within 30 minutes, you will be getting the keys, 3 keys for your F5. Again, not new thing, the same thing, whatever you are done with your F5 LTM days, the same thing. I can see one more guy is there, Kiran. Hey Kiran, thanks for joining in. So would you just brief about yourself? Are you aware about F5 terminology? Are you working on any kind of product suite of F5?
No, I'm not working on that.
Are you aware about F5?
No.
You are not aware. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Kiran.
Well.
So we were talking about the F5 licensing and all of the stuff. Then you will be getting an email with such kind of screenshot. Again, the screenshot is also attached over there so that you should not get confused for the new guys. Okay. And such kind of key you will get into your mailbox. If you see, there are 3 keys. So for big IP, there are key number 1, key number 2, key number 3. So these 3 keys you can use for 30 days. So it means 3 into 30 for 90 days, one time you can go. And for one email, you can go for 3 times. It means you would be having 3 into 3, total 9 keys. And 9 into 30, whatever days you are having, you can go for that and you can use that. Okay. So that is the like a quick overview how you need to demand for the key. When you have keys in your hand, the next point is for the licensing. In licensing, as I told you, you should be having the key. Key we have already talked about. Now you need to create something known as dossier. Again, the LTM topic, but it's all right. It's a file combination of your key and some of the properties of your unit or the box, F5 box. Then you need to activate the license. Let me show you those 2 things also. Even though it is well prepared in this document, I have not left anything over there so that a new person can also able to understand by how to configure these things by reading out this workbook. But even then, I am just going through it so that none of you should be having any trouble in the last. So you need to log in again. I am talking about the username and passwords also. Whatever you need to put in, that this time what should be the username and password. Try to do these things without using this workbook. When you are stucking out somewhere, maybe you can take the refer of this workbook, but I would suggest you do not use it. Okay. Once you understand what's the logic, don't use this workbook. Use it only when you stuck out and you want to see something. Maybe you can go and check out quickly, but otherwise, except some of the fundamental things like the VLAN information or the IP address information, don't refer these workbooks, please. Okay, because it would be for you only. Once you will make mistake, you will able to learn more and more. So that is the way of learning. But again, depend upon you as per the timing also. All of us are of the working experienced guys, so we should not have so much of the time. But if you can manage, do like that. By default, it will be go to the setup utility. It will be showing you that there is no license over there on the device. That is perfectly fine. We need to do the licensing part. Click on this particular button next. Again, each and everything is mentioned over in the workbook. It is showing license is not activated. Activate it by click on the activate button. Go down. And even I have, even in the screenshot, I have made the description also. Okay. I have added some kind of points in the screenshot as well. That's what you need to do. Put the new key, what you are having, select the manual. Again, there are 2 points, automatic and manual. For automatic, you guys are aware that you should be having the internet connectivity. Okay. If no, you don't have, select the manual. Press the next and you will be having the dossier. Again, each and every point is mentioned in this workbook as per my knowledge. If there is some miss, maybe you can do let me know. I will add that as well. But as far as I can see that there isn't anything which is missed. So once you are doing this, okay, I am giving you the screenshot that what you need to do. And I am giving you the screenshot also that what I did. Then when I press next, you can see there is a dossier. And again, in the screenshot also, I am giving some kind of description that click on this link. When you are clicking on this link, it will be open into some of the maybe, you know, F5 licensing server link. Paste, copy and paste this dossier over there. You can also download this from this button. If you see, let me rub out this, all of the stuff. Either you can copy paste, either you can download. Again, depend upon you how you want to go. You can just press Ctrl A, copy it, press in on the F5 licensing server. Let me show you quickly so that there should not be any issue. Go down. It will open in front of you. It will ask for EULA and user license agreement. Accept that. Pause that. You just press next, next. It will giving you a license. Copy and paste that license over here. Maybe you can download that license for your purpose also. Press on the next. Once it would be done, it will take a boot or it will be giving you such kind of screen. Each and every screen I have captured for you guys so that there should not be any issue. It will take some time. Pause that, log in into it, and it will be the part of your provisioning. In the provisioning, by default, you guys are aware there are a couple of the options like none. None means that particular module is not provisioned. Second option is nominal, which we need to use every time. Nominal means you are not either squeezing the resources, you are even not giving all of the resources to particular module. If in case, if you are using dedicated, so it means only one module is dedicated for, only that module is dedicated for all of the resources. But no, even you don't need to use minimum also, because minimum means you are squeezing out all of the resources, giving as minimum as possible. No. So don't use these two, use the nominal, again, the LTM topic, but I am just showing you so that everyone should be on the same page. I have just give you the screenshot. I have just pointing out the arrows that these two should be nominal. Okay. You need to nominal them. It is already licensed for you guys. And then it when you press next, it will be giving you some kind of such kind of message. that you are reprovisioning. It should be restart some of the daemons. Okay, press OK. It will restart. Such kind of screen will open in front of you, which will be asking about the device name, time zone, default username and password. Please do not change the default passwords. Whatever the password is, keep that password only. Otherwise, if you will forget the password, you need to wipe out the configuration. You need to do it from the scratch. And again, these things will the time consuming, which is not good. Okay. So whatever you want to use, that is free to your will. I would suggest if you can use admin and root for the NetMinion, you can go for that, so that you would be having same thing for all of the lab. But no, as per your choice, whatever you want to keep, you can keep. Again, the same screenshot is also shared over here. That okay, the host name, in the host name, it should be the FQDN. Please use some kind of FQDN. In my case, I am using netminion.net. Whatever the time zone, whatever this is, again, you need to use the username and password. You need to change it first time, press on next. That is the thing. Your provisioning part is also done. Click on finished. Okay, even I am showing you the screenshot also. So far you have configured your routing part, or maybe I can say the connectivity part, routing, switching, whatever you have done with that. One part is done. Second part, I will say the licensing and provisioning part. Licensing and maybe I can say provisioning part. That is also done. Third part is you need to do minimum configuration on your FI box so that your window machine should come to the FI first and then should go to the backend server. So that is my logical stuff. And for that, I need to create the VIP. For VIP, again, I need to should have pool. For pool, I should to have pool member. So all of that stuff, what should be the VLAN, what should be the pool member, how should this connectivity should happen. It seems very easy. When you are creating this in your own lab, it might take some time. Okay, don't worry. Refer this workbook if you stuck somewhere. Otherwise, do not refer them if you are confident about that. Again, I am talking about all of the VLAN configuration and all of the stuff. That what is the VLAN? Again, the same concept of your stuff. You can read about it. If you are not aware about it, don't worry. Then in FI, you are aware that the port number are a bit like 1.1, 1.2, maybe management or bit like that. Okay. So if you see our lab, in our lab, 1.1 is for external, 1.2 for internal. Same thing I am checking over here, that for external, I am just checking 1.1, again the untagged port. I don't want to make them tag. Clicking on the finished button, you will be able to do bit like external and internal. I have given you the both of them. Then you guys should be aware about self IP, bit like your layer 3 VLAN. If you want to take the metaphor of your switching part, okay. Again, you can read about them. If you are not aware about, you can ask me in further classes. Okay, in next class, you can ask me all of these questions. And here I am just showing that, okay, what is my external IP? External IP, what I am selecting for is maybe if it is my external VLAN, okay. If it is my external VLAN, I am selecting .252. Maybe the concept was for my LTM classes where I am used to teach about the HA, that okay, there is one device is this, there is two devices this which would be 253, and there would be an HA IP of 254. But again, I am not using HA because we are not considering about HA concept over here. We need to talk about the security policies. One device is more than suffice, but I am using the subnet as 252 only because I have the practice of the same thing, right? Finish it, allow the port lockdown, allow default again, LTM topics. I'm not covering more of them, but you can give a reference from here. You need to create the external and internal. Again, the VLANs are mentioned into your first PDF. You need to just go with that, your first PDF. Then you are aware what is the node. Node is nothing but is an IP. Now, whatever I think okay. So I am just saying this is PHP auction. Auction website has 10, 10, 30, 100 IP address that I am adding. Then I am creating a pool. Under the pool, that particular, stuff is called on the service port 80. Created the HTTP, that is perfectly fine. Then I am creating a pool, and this pool is called under a virtual server. Again, you guys are also aware about virtual server, that is a VIP where our traffic will hit on the very first point. Giving the name, changing the address, giving the service port 443. Because I am giving the service port, I can just use the client SSL only. Use the auto map. Again, each and everything I am using the arrows so that you guys should not be bothered anywhere, and you should have every information. Select the default pool, click on finished, pause that, your connectivity will be done. Any doubt, any question to anyone? Do let me know. Is there? Okay, am I audible? Anyone, please?
Yeah, all good.
Okay. Perfectly fine. Let us go with some more, concept of the LTM again. So still we are on the LTM. We have not even touched the ASM part. Okay, again, everything is LTM. Who is gonna talk about what are the profiles in LTM? Maybe the people who are already working on LTM, please. What is the profile?
A set of rules.
I'm sorry?
It's a set of rules that can be modified or can be created in the F5 LTM. And it's divided, I think, as I remember, custom and the other thing I forgot really, but it's a set of rules.
We can say, yeah. So we can say profile is some configuration tools, right? Sorry, someone is on unmute. Let me mute everyone. Give me a minute. Arvind, I am muting you. If you have any question, please do let me know. Okay. What I was talking about is the profile. Profile is configuration tool. Maybe in general term, what I can say is your FI LTM can be a part of routing. As a router, it can act. It can be a part of maybe only L4 profiles, as I was talking about the fast L4 virtual server. So these profile will make you aware about your virtual server that, okay, what kind of traffic you will receive. So if you are attaching a TCP profile, it is aware that I would be receiving a TCP traffic. If you are applying a HTTP profile, it would be aware that, okay, I am capable of HTTP capability as well, but I need to be get aware that, okay, if HTTP profile is there or no. So let me ask one question from you guys. It is important again. Is anyone is aware about or have work on the X forwarder?
Yeah, I have worked with X forwarder.
Okay, what is that?
So when we enable SNAT automap, if we want to retain the source IP of the requester in the packet, we use X forwarded for.
Perfectly right. Have anybody worked on fallback host profile setting? Fallback. Again, the LTM question. Or maybe HSTS. Very important concept. Very important concept. Yeah, Langana, you were saying something. Wait.
No, not aware of fallback host.
Oh, not aware. It is nothing, but if none of your backend server is responding, maybe you can, send your traffic to some other, or you can put a redirection maybe using this. Again, HSTS is the big topic. We will be coming to that in our advanced classes. But you guys are aware about the SSL profile, right? SSL offloading, SSL pass-through, SSL bridging, all of these things we need to achieve through the SSL profiles, right? So I am considering that you are aware about the profile. But now let me ask another question. Who from you guys are aware about LTP, local traffic policies? Again, LTM part, very general part. You should be aware about it. If you have any maybe any work experience or maybe any past experience, please share. What is LTP? Although I would be sharing or I would be telling you about these things are any case we are using in ASM. None of the things I am teaching which is not the part of ASM. Everything is the part of ASM. I will be connecting these dots later on. If you have heard about the Steve Jobs, speech, connecting the dots. Here also, we will be connecting the dots later on. Okay. But yeah, for now, what is LTP? Anybody is aware about LTP? No? Let me ask. Anyone is aware about iRule?
Yeah, we write simple scripts for redirection purpose. That is what policies will also help us do. But iRules is manual. Policies is primarily graphical user interface support.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So let me show you this stuff. Okay. Maybe if you guys are not aware, let me give an example and then we will proceed further. So where is my terminal? This is my login profile. And why I'm telling you about this, that also we will be discussing in a minute. Admin. Let me just close this. There should be one profile if I'm not wrong. Policy, there should be one policy also. Okay, from my previous classes, maybe let me remove them. I need to unpublish them. Yeah. Okay, let me unpublish them. First, let me delete. If I can delete this, it is in the draft. Now I need to, maybe one by one I need to do. Okay. So create draft. It's not allowing. Okay, let me show you this. Let me show you this. Then you will be able to understand what I am telling. This is my previous class. Okay. So what is the policy is, it is, as Rangana was saying, it is a graphical way to do or achieve the same things like your iRule is doing. Not up to that much, so much of the granularity, but yes, maximum things you can achieve from here. So you can see I am giving a policy name. And here there can be n number of rules. Maybe if you guys are aware, I don't know how many of you are aware about the route map. There is something known as route map in the networking, where you can match different ACLs or maybe different stuff. And as per that, you can make the traffic engineering decisions of your routing policies. Okay, maybe in your QS or maybe in different ways, you are using the route map. Bit like the same concept you would feel like when you are using policy. You are having a policy, you are having the policy name. Under the policy name, there are some rules what you are defining for. I am saying all traffic should be matched. It should be redirect to what? Redirect to https netminion.net. Again, the redirection can be achieved from the iRule also. I am not denying. But this is a graphical way. There is a lot of things what you can select either at the time of redirect, either at the time of response, what kind of traffic you want to match, what kind of particular URI you want to match. You can play with that maybe in your lab later on when you will be getting the access of this lab. But for the time being, I'm just showing you a simple policy. This simple policy is the GUI kind of stuff, like in our SD-WAN, in our vManage, when we are creating the templates. Again, the GUI thing. Okay, we can use those things using the CLI also, or even the CLI template is also available. But similarly, over here, we are using the GUI stuff for creating some kind of, maybe you can say, the local traffic policy. Okay, so this is a feature provided by a, maybe not the classic way of your iRules, but some specific action if you need to perform over on your F5, you can use such kind of stuff. What is my policy? Policy is my NetMinion redirection policy. Let me show you. Let me show you the way. Okay. So let me go to the policy list again. I don't know. As the thing, this policy, let me delete first. Give me a minute so that you should not be get confused. And why I'm teaching you the LTP, that also you can able to understand. This policy we created yesterday altogether, if you are remembering, right? Let me delete, let me go to the policies. There should be only one. The policy name is NetMinion redirection policy. I am going to this virtual server. If I am checking out this virtual server IP, okay, using HTTPS, you can see I need, it would open the hacking website, which should be, right? That is the ideal way actually. Now, let me close that. Let me go to the virtual server. Let me go to the resources. Over here, you can see there is two things, iRule and policies. The policy which you configured would be showing over here. Just drag and drop from this side to this side. Click on finish, and this policy is applied. Let me go to the properties and copy out that destination IP again, what I was opening. Maybe in this time in incognito window, I am going over there. Control V, what happened? Okay, I'm not picking up. 10.10.20.43. HTTP. What happened? Oh, my keyboard is not working. Give me a minute. So let me use my laptop keyboard if I can write out more issues. Give me a minute. Let me open the notepad if I can. Okay, I can write down over there. Maybe some issues with the window machine. Lab is idle for some time. Maybe I can just take a reload of this machine. Give me a minute. Okay. It is only the machine which is booted up, not these devices. Let us check again. I can type out something or no. But you guys are aware about the policy now, right? So policy is something you are putting a policy, okay? And for that policy, you are giving the rule name. Under that rule name, you are publishing the condition, and then you need to apply this policy on your virtual server. So that is the way, like how you need to do. And we create one policy. Under that policy, we create only one rule, and that is what we need to check now. Let me check if it is working for, it was, yeah, it is working back. 10.10.10.51 is my what, like FIASM box. No, that is perfectly fine. Server was 10.10.20.43. I was about to show you HTTPS and 10.10.20.43. Before that, if I will press Control-Shift-I, my developer tool will also open. Okay? Maybe we can talk about that later on also. But just for the information, I am showing you. Are you guys able to see this? This is showing that there is a redirection happened. And redirection happened to what? NetMinion.net. And why it is done? NetMinion.net. Okay, maybe some issues with the internet connectivity on this lab. I will check that later on. But you can see that it is redirecting. Can you see? This redirection happened with the help of policy. So This is the policy, what we are able to see over there. Now, why I am telling about the policy stuff in the ASM class? Let us talk about that. Give me a minute. So policy, is there any question? If no, let me just go to my PPT, back to my PPT. Okay, this is my PPT. Now let us talk about the traffic flow. How your traffic will flow when your request is coming. Let us say this is the request what is coming. For this, your virtual server IP should be reachable, routable, whatever the things are, that should be everything over there. This is your first requirement. Then it will check either the policy is there or no. What policy? It is known as ASM policy. Whenever you are creating any security policy, again, very important question, be mindful. When you are having any security policy, it will apply a LTP on your virtual server, which says match all traffic, match for all traffic, send this traffic to the ASM. Getting this point, guys? So if there is a ASM thing enabled, your ASM policy is there, it will validate the request, either the request is validate or no. If it is validated, it will go to the default pool. If it is no, a violation will get created. If this part is not there, it means it is simple your LTM. It means it will check the default pool is there. Yes, request is entertained, otherwise no. Okay. So that is the logical, or maybe you can say that is the point, like how your traffic is going on. Any doubt? Let me talk again. Request is coming, going to your F5. F5 is checking security policy is there or no. If there is a security policy, the traffic will be going to your ASM. If it is okay, it will be going to your backend server. If it is not, it will be generating a violation and it will not forward your traffic even to your backend server. Any doubt? Any question? No? So that is what for, again, it is not our first class even today also. Let me just check if I can cover up a couple of the topics from our first class also. Give me a minute. Let me open that. Where is? Okay. So we talked about the LTP. Any doubt in LTP to anyone, you can ask, or if there is any question. Okay, I need to show you that, right? Let me show you first. So let me go to the security policy. What are the security policy? Again, we will be talking about that. Just I am, creating one because I am just focusing on the LTP now. First of any name. So policy, I am not least considered about parent security comprehensive, whatever it is. Going to the HTTP, that is perfectly fine. Maybe I am just not using anything. I am just creating the security policy. I don't want to make it tune it, okay? Give it some time, let it get created. Because this security policy is associated with your, virtual server. I just use that, right? So one more LTP will assign on your virtual server automatically. And we need to check that LTP. Kiran, you are not from F5. You are not like you have not worked on F5. So are you catching something? Or everything is like very hard to digest?
No, I am catching.
Oh, okay. Failed to run the task. What happened? What is the issue? First, policy template, virtual server, learning mode, maybe automatic, enforcement mode. Maybe let me just keep the application language. Again, we will come back to that. Let me give one. If it is not failing, let me give all of them. Linux or Unix. MySQL. Again, we will talk about these things in detail later on. Builder enable. It should be done. What is the issue? Oh, maybe the LTP should not be creating the problem because I have applied a wrong LTP for the redirection. Let us see. If it will fail again, maybe I need to remove the LTP. Fail to validate the policy name. Oh, policy name is creating a problem. But let me remove the LTP as well. Although there can be more than one LTP, like you have more than one iRules available, that can be. But if in this case it is doing something in the redirection, maybe I need to change. What happened? Oh, created. Let me see. Go to the virtual server, go to the resources. Over here, it automatically removed that. Perfect. Fine. So whenever you are creating any of the security policy, okay, again, important question, even with respect to your interviews also, if someone is asking that, you should be aware about it. So all of the traffic when hitting to this virtual server, it will be triggered this policy. This policy name is, this is the common from here to here. After that, your whatever your virtual server name is. So my virtual server name is this. It is showing bit like that. Okay. So that is the way. Now, if I will click on this policy, just scroll it down. Okay, this is the rule named as default. Perfectly fine. I need to check out what is my security policy that is speaking out over here. You guys will be able to see very clearly what it is talking about. It is saying the policy name, again, what I told you, that is the generic way. Okay, this is your rule name that is default, matching all of the traffic, enabling something, what it is enabling, the ASM. For which policy? This is the policy. At what time? At the request time. Getting this point, guys? Again, important thing. Okay, whenever you are creating any security policy, the LTP will assign automatically. So do not get confused if ever you have encountered with such kind of things. Maybe if someone will ask, what is that all about? So it means you have a security policy. If you will remove this security policy, maybe, so under this security policy, I can just disable it, okay, and just update it. If you go to the resources, you can see the traffic policy is also removed. Let me apply it again. Update. Go to the resource. Again, it is back. Any doubt? Any question? No? Okay, I'm treating your silence as no. So what we can do is maybe let's not make new topic start. Otherwise, I would not be able to complete it in 5 minutes. So let it wrap up over here only for today. Maybe we can start it from the next weekends. Till then, have a very great day. If you have any question related to the lab, related to anything, maybe you can contact with Joya or the NetMean team or with me also. Okay, I would be helping you out on that. Even for the technical query, yeah, you can reach me. So these two PDF would be given to you over the WhatsApp. Lab access for the guys who don't have yet and who have paid their payment, you will get it by today or maybe by tomorrow. Okay, most probably. But it is applicable like as per the plan, whatever you have taken, because a couple of you are from the old batch, only going for the online classes, not for all. Okay. You can, talk about those things maybe with Joya later on. It should not be get confused over here, confusion over here. So regarding the lab, who are opting or who are paying for this batch only, you would get by today or tomorrow. Those who are eligible, you will get that. Okay. The rest of the people who wanted to enroll, maybe you can talk with Joya and she will be telling you about each and everything. In case if you have any other doubt, you can ask me. Rest, I talked about the videos, that whenever I am delivering this session, I am giving you these videos, okay, for free, for lifetime. That is comprehensive. Okay. Sorry. So that is your right. You will be getting that as a complimentary. Okay. So that is one thing, and you would be having the access on the portal soon. Okay. Till you don't have the access on the portal, you would be getting it by the Zoom link. Directly download it. Maybe for today and for yesterday, I am putting it over the YouTube also, so that everyone should be aware about what is the way of teaching.